Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. We appreciate you guys coming on. And let's say hello to a few friends here. Let me just see if I can. Okay, hold on a minute here. Say hello to a few friends as you get your notifications. Here we go. There we go. Okay, let me see here. If I can see you guys on my device, because everything scrolls past so fast. Here we go. Yep. Let's see who's first here. I got Rosa. Rosa, you're number one on the hit parade today. Sandy, how are you? Lisa, Brahim, there you are. April, Beverly, Fran, how are you? Doreen, how are you, Doreen, from Windsor? Natalie, there's my friend, Dr. Troy Bennett, out in Newfoundland. Good morning to you, Doc. Diane, Linda, St. Jude, Quebec. Nick from our staff is watching. Janine, how are you? Lorraine, Cheryl, West Virginia, David, good morning, Helga, Natalie, Linda, we love those Lindas from New Brunswick, Nativity, good morning, Rose, how are you? And Rose is in Fort Lauderdale. Milika, Stouffville, Janice, Wanda, Heather, and Catherine, good morning from Springdale, Newfoundland. Nice to have you on. Mary, Gander, Newfoundland. Hey, Newfoundland. John and Linda, Fenland Falls. Karen, Innisfil. Francis from Vaughan. Dave, how are you? From Muskoka. Maria, Rosalinda, how are you? From Niagara Falls. Oh, Brahim, myself, and Andrea. You mean Andrea was ahead of you? I didn't see her name. Lise, Bonnie, Marianne, Danny Lay, how are you? From Iron Bridge, Ontario. Arlene, Frida, Lou Ella, West Tennessee. Say hi to Doc McEwen. Shireen, how are you? Lise from Sudbury. Dorothy. Okay, a couple of more. Kevin, what happened to you? Now I see your name, Denise. Yolande, I've been waiting for you. What took you so long? Wanda. Lisa Marie. Donna, how are you? From Park Hill. Cecilia. Shedjak, Nouveau Brunswick. Bonjour. Sherry from Mississauga. Natalie. Yvonne, how are you? Dave from Gilmore, we love you. We love you. We love you. And Brahim says, go Dodgers, go. No, I'm a Blue Jay fan. Brahim. Okay, let's look at a few studies here this morning. And when I flag something, guys, it's because I find it fascinating. Okay, so this is a new study, very significant study here on insulin resistance. So you know what insulin resistance is. Let me just recap very quickly. Insulin resistance is when your cells at the cellular level, okay, every cell in your body has a receptor for insulin. Why? Because it's insulin comes knocking at the door of your cells to put sugar in there. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, open up. I got to park sugar, right? And the parking spots love especially muscles, liver, and fat cells. Those cells are the primary place where insulin parks sugar into fat. Okay? So, insulin resistance is the first start the first stop when it comes to your body starting to break down. Why? Because your cells at the cellular level say, you know what, insulin? I'm sick and tired of you. Sick and tired. You come around all the time. And remember, insulin is a food hormone. You're only using insulin when you eat. If you don't eat, you don't need insulin. It's the traffic cop. When there's traffic, when there's sugar in your bloodstream, sugar can't stay there. Insulin's got a job to do. So people in this day and age, compared to, we talked about this the other day, 100 years ago, people, they didn't have insulin resistance like we have today, because today we eat. Okay, I went out for a second. You all right here? I don't know what happened. Everything all right? Give me a thumbs up if you can see me and hear me. Okay, let me just see. Can you see? Okay, there we go. I don't know. I went out for a second. At least on my end. I don't know if you did on your end. Okay? Now, okay? So insulin resistance is the first step along the line to becoming a diabetic. Insulin resistance is the first step in heart disease. Insulin resistance is the first step in Alzheimer's. Insulin resistance is the first step, even in cancer. It's a metabolic disease. It's an energy. We talked about that. Okay? Now, listen to this new study, okay? All of that just to give you an idea. Again, most of you know this, but again, we always aim at our audience, which often is a lot of new people, okay? That's just the way it is, okay? Because you'll see we've got 167 people on with us right now. By noon, this thing will be shared 4,000 or 5,000 times, okay? So not everybody can watch it live. We understand that. Anyway, you got the memo on insulin resistance? Listen to this. So sugar, a big factor in insulin resistance. But here's a new thing. So is salt. What? So is salt. Okay, new studies. And it's not because you're eating too much salt. It's the opposite. We're not eating enough salt. And I mean real salt, okay? There's table salt is not really salt, okay? It's been stripped of all of its electrolytes and any nutrients. Salt, so what they're saying, let me read it to you. Low salt intake significantly increases insulin resistance. Wow. Well, you see, here's the teaching on it. We know why sugar has such an effect on insulin, because you can't not allow sugar to be in the bloodstream. But the problem is, people today in their diets, and a lot of people are told by their physicians to cut back on salt, okay? Because of high blood pressure. Cardiologists, they got that wrong, by the way. They got that wrong. You see, if you have a crappy diet, your body will do everything to hold on to salt and water, okay, with a crappy diet. And when you don't have enough salt, your body retains it. Because it's saying, you're not giving me enough, I have to retain it. And when you retain it, that's when your blood pressure goes up. It's when you're retaining salt, when you're not eating enough salt. And insulin job, part of it, is to retain salt if you're not eating it. If you're not consuming salt, enough of it, your body retains it. And insulin job is to do that, and water, by the way. It'll retain water. And it's only a diabetic, okay? When you get past insulin resistance and you get into diabetes, what happens? You dehydrate big time. And you now start peeing out water. Because your body's trying to get rid of that sugar. So it pours, it will do everything it can. They call that polyuria. I remember patients coming into the office and they had polyuria. Oh, doc, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm peeing a lot. Can I use the medical word? Urinating? I like the other one, peeing. Hey, doc, I'm peeing a lot. Well, no wonder, I said. Okay? I just did your A1C. You're a diabetic. What? Or you got sugar in your urine. You're a diabetic. Ah, my doctor never told me that. I said, well, I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that. And remember, my book, Sun, Steak, Steel, Sleep. You know what the other chapter is there too? At the top? Sun, Steak, Steel, Sleep. And then what? Salt. I talk about the importance of salt. You need salt. Now, again, I'm not talking about table salt. That's been stripped. That's been stripped. You need a good salt. Okay? I like Himalayan salt. And put a little bit of salt in your water. It'll help you even with your insulin. Now, I never really talked about that before. This is a new study. A low salt, okay? Your low salt in 1 week, significantly more insulin resistance. Wow. Sugar, destructive. A lack of salt, destructive. Okay? You often hear me talking about electrolytes, how important they are. Magnesium, potassium, sodium. Okay? You're having a heart attack. Okay? You're having a heart attack. You're on the way to the hospital. In the ambulance. You know what they're giving you? You know what they're giving you? Salt. In a bag. Okay? They're giving you high amounts of salt. Right in a drip. Okay? And the irony in all of this is that even today, because I hear it all the time, my doctor told me to cut back on salt because I have high blood pressure. Okay? My doctor told me, because they're not looking at the root cause, which is insulin resistance. That affects the kidneys. The kidneys hold on to salt and water, and blood pressure goes up. It's the first thing that I used to look at with blood pressure. I said, you change your diet, you fix insulin resistance, and you're going to fix your blood pressure. You got the memo? Okay. So salt is really important. We've done podcasts on salt and the significance of it and what to do with it. Okay? Now, okay, let me just see here. What other studies that I want to look at this morning? Here's one on vitamin K2. The importance of vitamin K2. Now, guys, you know me. I always talk about vitamin K2. Isn't it amazing when you look at food, okay? Because they're doing some research on vitamin K2 and how significant it is. How for atherosclerosis, the hardening of the arteries, arteries calcify. And now they're looking at research on the significance not only of vitamin D in the heart, vitamin D in your blood vessels. Vitamin D, guys, is for everything. Your immune system, your heart, your brain, your bones, your everything. Vitamin D. You're a solar panel. Okay? But the new studies now looking at vitamin K2, one of the best chelators, one of the best to get calcium out of your bloodstream is vitamin K2. Now, I talk about this all the time because if you think, I want you to think with me just for a minute here. I am going to prove to you again the importance of eating the majority of your food from the animal kingdom. I want to prove it to you, okay, with vitamin K2. When you eat an egg, okay, when you eat an egg, you get calcium, okay? You guys, you need calcium. You don't need a calcium supplement, but you need to eat calcium. But you must eat it the way God wants you to eat it. What do you mean by that? Well, you don't eat calcium on its own. Even dairy, guys, think about this, okay? Think about dairy for a minute. Everybody knows calcium. You need to drink milk to get calcium. Yes, in a way, but I don't like milk because store-bought milk is full of sugar. Okay? Even if you get it lactose-free, it don't matter. Not enough fat in it. It's not good for you. You don't need that stuff. Again, unless you have a cow in the backyard. But you can eat dairy and butter and cheese and cream. I love that stuff. That's so good for you. Because it has calcium, really good for your bones. Calcium, by the way, is good for your heart. In conjunction with vitamin K2. In nature, God gave you calcium not out of a plant. Because if you get calcium out of a plant, doesn't come with K2. It comes with K1. But K1 doesn't deliver the calcium into your bones where it belongs. Only K2 does that. It's another proof. You want to stay away from hardening of your arteries? Eat an egg. The doctor is worried about your cholesterol, but I'm worried about your calcium. There are two C's. Doctor worries about cholesterol. Dr. Martin worries about calcium. Parking in a no parking zone. Just like sugar. Is sugar destructive in your blood vessels? You bet your boots. You have an organ dedicated. Your pancreas. Dedicated. Sugar? Out. You can't park in the blood. And you have food. Dedicated. Is calcium important? Yes. In the bloodstream? No. It don't belong in your blood. Calcium belongs in your bones. And a lot of people, by the way, get osteoporosis. Okay? They get osteoporosis because they don't get enough vitamin D and K from the food. Because calcium in the animal kingdom is built in with the traffic cop, K2. You eat a piece of cheese, you got a lot of calcium in the cheese, accompanied by vitamin K2. You see, you get calcium in the plant kingdom, it's going to stay in your bloodstream, guys. It ain't going to get to your bones. This is another reason I always make the argument. Okay? I make the argument. You know what my other argument is? I do this about every 2 weeks. Your stomach was made to be like a lion. Well, as a matter of fact, it's more acidic than a lion. Okay? It's more acidic than a lion. Proof in the pudding that you were meant to eat eggs, meat, and cheese. You were meant for it. Protein. You were meant for eating steak. Calcium with vitamin K2. Very, very important. Okay? It's a chelator. It takes calcium off your blood vessels. You don't want calcium in your blood vessels. It's hardening of the arteries. It's atherosclerosis. Your arteries are becoming calcified. How many times did they check your carotid arteries and they see a buildup of plaque? You know what plaque is? Calcium. That's why when people avoid the animal kingdom, they're making a huge boo-boo. Because they're not getting vitamin K2. That's another reason that our vitamin D is with K2. That's why eggs, meat, and cheese is so good for you. It's another reason. Okay? So vitamin D is great. Vitamin K2 is beautiful. It's so good for you. Okay? So new study on that. Okay, let me just look at it again here. If I can open it up. Yep, here it is. And the importance of vitamin K2 to minimize your risk of hardening of the arteries, atherosclerosis. You need salt for blood pressure. The opposite of what people think. The opposite of what doctors have told you. You need salt. Salty. Okay? You need water. Niagara Falls. Go to Niagara Falls. 2 in the morning. 4 in the morning. 4 at night. Midnight. I don't care when you go to Niagara Falls. The water's always running. That's your kidneys. They need water and they need salt. And they don't need sugar. Because sugar will get your body to hold on to salt. And that's one of the big factors in blood pressure, and it's a huge factor in edema. Fluid built up in your legs, in your feet, in your hands. Okay? They tell you to cut your salt out. It's the opposite of that. It's the opposite of that. Okay, let me see. What other one was new? Okay, we talked about insulin. And let me just see. Here's one that says, again, this is not new. It's a new study, but it's not new thinking, where bacterial infections have an impact on heart disease. Okay? Oral bacteria. You know, we talk about this, guys, all the time, the microbiome. Where is the vast majority of your microbiome found? In your gut. What did Hippocrates say 2,000 years ago? All diseases start in the gut. Man, that guy was a genius. and the farther along we go, the more we're catching up to what Hippocrates was saying, that the gut's really important. But there's a huge connection between your gut and your brain. We teach that. The blood-brain barrier is really a microbiome thing in the brain. Okay? You have a blood-gut barrier and you have a blood-brain barrier. Man, I studied the blood-brain barrier in the 70s. We were fascinated by it. We didn't know how it worked, but we were just fascinated by that. I remember that. Studying the blood-brain barrier. Okay? But there's another thing that this study is talking about. It's the gut-mouth microbiome. The connection between your oral and your gut. And when you kill away your good bacteria. You have good guys. Your body, guys, again, is in a constant battle between good and bad. Okay? There's an evil world inside your body. Okay? There's good and there's bad. Okay? You can't see it. It's submicroscopic. Trillions of bacteria. And there's a war going on. Two armies looking at each other. Ready to fight. And you better have enough good guys. And you know this at the Martin Clinic, and I said this 50 years ago. We're destroying our microbiome with antibiotics. You want to know gives me a migraine? Is when a dentist tells a patient, you better get on antibiotics before you get dental work done. It drives me mental, guys. You're destroying your good guys. Yeah, a problem with an antibiotic, okay, is it doesn't know what to kill. It kills everything. It's carpet bombing. Autoimmune disease. Listen to me, Linda's. Listen to me, Larry's. Autoimmune disease is carpet bombing. What? It's carpet bombing of your microbiome. The worst culprit is an antibiotic. It's the worst because it wipes out. It carpet bombs. There's a lot of friendly fire where your friendly bacteria get destroyed. That happens in your mouth too. You know what they've shown? This is... you don't have to even get it from me. People that use mouthwashes, especially with alcohol-based or whatever, you're wiping out your good guys. You don't want that. Again, it's supposed to be a symbiotic relationship. Two armies, the good, the bad, okay? And I read the story of David and Goliath. You ever read that story in the Bible? Okay? You have the Israeli army on one side and you have the Philistines on the other side. And I guess just for weeks and weeks and weeks at a time, they're just looking at each other. Right? That's what happens in your body until you wipe out your good guys. You know what happens after that? You know what happens after that? Your bad guys win. Plus, you get an invasion. This is what I've always taught you folks. The invasion of the Trojan horse. And that can happen in your mouth orally. And what happens then? Well, I don't even believe it's bacterial as much as it's fungal. gets into the bloodstream and can attack your heart. That's what the study is saying. Now, they're saying bacteria. I say fungal. Just like your stomach. Just like when you hear SIBO, it's not SIBO, it's SIFO. Small intestine fungal overgrowth. How did that happen, Doc? How did I get a fungal overgrowth? Usually antibiotic. Now, it can be the environment with all the chemicals and all the plastics and that kind of thing. Yes, but nothing like an antibiotic. That can save your life, by the way. You have to renew and replenish. Renew, replenish. Renew, replenish. Remember that. That's what, if you're wondering if you need a probiotic, here's a test for you. Okay? I want you to take out a piece of mail that you got. Look at your address. If you live on planet Earth, okay, at the end it says, Dr. Martin, Sudbury, Ontario, Canada, planet Earth, you need a probiotic. Oh, your address ends with Mars? Maybe you don't. But you need it if you live on planet Earth. If you're not taking a probiotic, I don't know what to tell you. I mean it. And, you know, people tell me, well, Doc, I eat sauerkraut or I have yogurt. Yeah, hey, I didn't say that was no good. That's good for you. But if you're not taking a broad spectrum probiotic today, in the world in which we live, and there's antibiotics in the soil, there's antibiotics in our food, there's antibiotics everywhere, and the fact that you have had to take an antibiotic, you know, it destroys. It disrupts the microbiome. And we swallow, listen, 1.5 credit cards worth of plastic, microplastics every week. Every one of us. You live on the planet Earth. You got xenoestrogens that are coming into your body every day, every day, every day. I don't care where you go, as long as you're on planet Earth. You need to protect yourself. Okay? What was the study? Let me read it to you one more time. Oral bacteria. Hold on a minute. New study found oral bacteria can increase the risk of heart attacks, chronic overgrowth. Like I said, to me it's more fungal than bacterial, but don't matter. Whatever. Take care of it. And by the way, let me just finish with this. Oil of oregano, you know me. Oil of oregano. The #1 natural antibiotic. Okay? Now listen, if you got a raging infection, you need an antibiotic, okay? So am I against that? Of course not. But naturally, in your mouth, if you want, and I use oil of oregano every day, and it don't kill your friendly bacteria. It only wipes out the bad guys. Isn't that great? Because it's nature's most powerful antibiotic is oil of oregano. I've been preaching that, guys, for 40 years. 40 years. Man, am I ever getting old? It shocks me. Okay. I've been talking, did I tell you this? I was talking to my grandson the other day, and he had me dying because I was telling him about my high school days, okay? And he said, Grandpa, do you know that you started high school almost 60 years ago? I said, you little snot. Come here, I'll give you this. What? Grandpa's old? Because I was telling him, high school. And he's going, Grandpa, that's almost 60 years ago. Jeepers creepers. You better have a sense of humor. Okay, we love you guys. We got a great finish to our week. Okay, tomorrow is, guess what tomorrow is? Q&A. Not too late. Send your questions into info@martinclinic.com. We love you guys so much. Tell your friends, guys. I know you do, but tell some more. We appreciate, okay? We love you guys. Tell them about the Doctors and podcast. They can get on their favorite device. Okay, talk to you soon.